It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, you have arrived on a day where I am going back into the Daily Doug vault and accessing a previously recorded reaction to share with you all. Over on my Patreon, I have a series called The Extended Play Lounge, and that is where I react to entire albums. We've done over 40 of them now, and recently I had the opportunity to react to Point of No Return from Kansas, their landmark album. And that was the first time that I had had any Kansas on my Patreon, and it was the first album reaction that I had done for that band. Over here on YouTube, I have reacted to their music 3 times previously. That was Magnum Opus, Song for America, and Chasing Shadows. But none of those songs are included on Point of No Return. So by the time that I got to that particular album, Point of No Return, for my Extended Play Lounge episode, I only knew one song with any familiarity at all, and that was Dust in the Wind. Of course, one of their greatest and most known songs. So I am pleased today to offer my reaction to Dust in the Wind with y'all now. We get that to open side 2, and then we get this acoustic wonder, Dust in the Wind. This is one that I know. And it's another Kerry Livgren tune, and he was inspired lyrically by a Native American poem that he had found that had the line in it that says, "For we are all dust and in the wind." And it becomes this beautiful acoustic and reflective song about I think the inevitability of mortality. And I think to this day it's their most famous, well-known song. It's one that I've heard, so must be quite well known to break through my exterior. And Carrie also said that the acoustic nature of the music, which is going to be quite different from everything else that we've heard on the album, right? It came from a finger-picking exercise that he was doing on the guitar. So let's listen to Dust in the Wind from Kansas. Off we go. So it just starts with some tension and release over a C chord down to a relative minor, A minor, and then back up.
Before my eyes a curiosity, dust in the wind.
Then it almost switches to A Dorian for this little section here. Then he goes right back.
Old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind.
Just beautiful.
All we are is dust in the wind.
Then they stay in that relative minor, A minor. Then the C major. violin in the background also plays a great role in providing the context for the picking of the guitar. And it adds another legato line to the vocals. So we've got a slower violin line with a slightly faster moving melody part within a very kind of fast plucking motion underneath it, and that provides the sandwich that allows us to be greater than the sum of its parts. Beautiful. And there's some hand percussion that's very soft in there as well. One of my favorites, even after all these years. You know, we can listen to songs over and over and over again and get tired of them, or get fatigued of listening to them, even though we love them, right? It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. I haven't heard that for a long time, and coming back to it, it was refreshing and just lovely to hear it. So Dust in the Wind, one of their best. You know, y'all, as I am learning more and more of Kansas's repertoire, as I was listening to this album, I was surprised at just how different the rest of the album sounded as compared to Dust in the Wind. Dust in the Wind is the one that I knew. And so when I heard the rest of the album, I'm like, wow, that's the song. That's the different one from everything else, right? And it was revealing to me. In fact, apparently the band was really close to being done with their writing and their rehearsing as they were preparing to record Point of No Return. But Kerry Livgren, who had written the song, actually he had written some lyrics to some of his acoustic guitar exercises that he was practicing at home. And so he comes up with this lovely little song, and he was actually quite reluctant to share it with his band members because of how different it sounds from the rest of their normal type of song. But the band really, really did enjoy it, and they even overruled Kerry, who lobbied against including his own song on this album. And they ended up including it, and thankfully they did, right? Because it went on to become one of the band's greatest hits. I think their most commercially successful song in their entire career. So it is my pleasure to present my reaction to Dust in the Wind, one that I have heard before, but it's always great to get back to this song. And the entire album reaction is still available on my Patreon. If you would like to access and look at that, I encourage you to do so. It is over on my Patreon, available at the middle and top tier. So you can take a look at that. We do about 2 of these full album reactions over on Patreon every month, so make sure that you are in the know. I believe that is all for today, my friends. Thanks for being with me as we have been listening to Dust in the Wind by Kansas. Thanks, friends. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.